Welcome back to another episode of Black Law and Legal Lies, where we specialize in the legal lies. My name is Dan, and you can keep up with me on Twitter and IG at I am Dan on Drugs. You can keep up with the show across all social media platforms at Black Law Podcast. Exciting news, ladies and gentlemen, exciting news. We announced it last episode, but our merchandise store is currently open and we have some really, really dope 2 designs.
The Death Star is fully operational.
And check it out. If you want to support the show, you want to support us, check it out. It's blacklawpodcast.com.
And even if you don't,
/shop.
Show somebody else.
Yeah, tell a friend to tell a friend.
To tell a friend.
Yeah, and also
to tell a ninja.
I'm rocking my a few screws loose anxiety shirt. Just plug that too. Fuck it. What else we selling? What we got in the refrigerator? We got some shit to sell in there.
We're selling Sam's purified water.
Oh, purified water. It is
well.
double osmosis, reversed osmosis.
Yeah. And it's 20 fluid ounces, unlike
20.
These punk ass
16.9.
Whatever.
Yeah. That shit out of here. And it's alkaline too, because we be putting batteries in them. Tell the people who y'all are.
As you can tell, we've already started the adventure with Afro, Becky, and the Black Law and Legalized crew.
And I'm Just Dan, and you can follow me at I Tell Legal Lies on Twitter.
Twitter. Man, you need to get on IG too.
Why?
I don't know. I don't even really be on there, but
no.
So, ladies and gentlemen, today what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump right into the topic, and of course, my phone is not in my hand. However, I'm gonna kind of summarize and paraphrase. Shout to Flaw 700 and Vitamin K, aka Killer. And they asked on this previous episode of Podcast Brothers, why does it take so long to go to trial, right? Mm-hmm. So, and I mean, that's a good question.
Hold up. I got to pull up your, what was it, 7? You had like 7 things?
Yeah, I had to do a multiple tweet.
Yeah, it was like 7. Let me pull it up.
So, anyway, the Amber Guyger, the female white cop who shot Botham Jean, she took the stand yesterday, gave us all those crocodile tears.
Yeah, she
did. Looked like a baby troll crying. I forgot who sent me that.
Wait, a baby troll?
I'm gonna have to send you that shit that Cliche sent me. It's funny as shit. She looks like the baby Grinch. That's what it was. It was the baby Grinch.
Oh, because she had her eyes so tight, she was trying to squeeze out the tears. She
and
really
it's funny because she sat there, right? And this is what happened. She sat there and she's looking normal, kind of. And then the prosecutor pulls out the handgun that she used, the evidence. And as he pulled it out, she starts looking away. Guns over here, and she's looking over here, and I just want everybody to know a police officer would not ever want to hurt an innocent person. Yeah. And I have to live with this every day of my life. Bitch, at least you get to live every day of your life with that shit. Right. You killed the man who was chilling in his house. So
eating ice cream nonetheless.
They're trying to use the fucking castle doctrine.
Well, they're not trying.
They are using it.
The judge has allowed the jury to consider the castle doctrine when they consider whether or not to find her guilty. And on top of that, she's also paved the way for them to return a verdict of manslaughter.
So can you refresh us on this castle
That
doctrine?
is basically stand your ground.
But it revolves around your home. or
you have
your
to
car.
be in your home. And
But she wasn't in her.
Well,
how
no.
is that?
They're-
Are they trying to apply that?
Well,
though?
the argument is she thought she was. And because she thought he was an intruder in her home, would the castle doctrine allow her to use fatal force? And it does.
Okay, so.
And you know, but here's the thing that I don't really understand how Texas is doing this unless they like brainwash the judge, because the judge is a black woman. But the judge,
Is she an elected official, elected judge?
I have no clue whether or not she's in an elected position. But this is a black woman.
So was Meek Mill's judge.
Yep. Judge Tammy Kemp, who is residing over this trial. And as I said, she has literally paved the way for them to return an acquittal.
What's the jury look like? Have they shown the jury?
I've not seen them. I don't know what the makeup of the jury is.
I can guarantee you that it's probably a jury of 12, 9 white, 5 women.
Pro law enforcement.
Throw a few Mexicans.
Well, there's going to be one Hispanic person and there's going to be one black person.
You think?
That's it.
One?
Just one.
Anyway, so yeah, basically, like I said, she's told the jury that they can consider the castle doctrine. 1. 2, she's also told them that
was a sign. That was a signal.
Man, what? I gotta bring it closer.
Yes, there you go.
All right,
that's good. That's good.
Am I coming in clear?
There you go.
Okay. Anyway, so as I said, 1, they can consider the castle doctrine. 2, they can consider a lesser charge of manslaughter. So basically, and here's the thing, when I read the manslaughter thing, and we all know the difference between murder and manslaughter, right?
Intent.
Exactly. Boy, Beck, you
see, I learned something.
Ding, ding, ding. So murder is she intentionally did it.
Mm-hmm.
Manslaughter, she recklessly did it. She did not intend.
The prosecutor directly asked her, did you do what your training taught you to do, which is shoot at center mass, which is trained to kill, basically.
And that is the point that I was going to bring up. She, on the stand, admitted that she intended to kill him when she shot him. That words out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I intended to kill him.
But when you think about it, anytime you shoot anybody, you intend to kill them.
Right. Most of the time.
Man, so the closing arguments were actually today. I didn't catch any of those. But back to
the question.
I actually have it up right here.
Oh, your 7 points?
Yeah, I'm gonna play a quick clip. Shout out to the podcast brothers.
Podcast brothers.
Public domain. Public domain.
Why does it take so long for these trials to even, I don't understand the judicial system or anything at all. Why does it take so long for something like this to even go to trial? Like it's been over a year and they're just starting this process.
Mm-hmm.
But like, why? I wonder why that even happens.
That's a good question. I got no answer for that.
Someone who's in the whatever system, criminal justice or whatever system, I need an answer. And not even just this case, cases in general where people are killed. I feel like, why is everything so backed up?
You know who we gonna ask? Dan on drugs.
Hello.
Let's ask Dan on drugs.
Exactly.
After we get done this episode, we're going to at you. We're going to at you. We're going to say, hey, why does trials take so long to happen? Like, you know what I mean? Because if it wasn't for social media, stuff like that, we probably wouldn't even know this was going on.
Right. And then it's like in this past year, has she been locked up? Like, if you shoot somebody, don't you sit in jail? They knew it was her. So, has she been sitting in jail the past year? Or
post bail. I should probably post bail, stuff like that. I highly doubt a former officer who lost her job, sat in jail. Because like this Ranger guy, David Armstrong, he's testifying that, he didn't see, he says she acted accordingly, basically.
Racist
on some,
bitch.
No, he's black.
Oh my gosh. What the hell?
He's black.
So that was courtesy of the podcast brothers, full attribution. Now, to answer a couple of those questions, one, she has been in custody, hasn't she, the entire time? No. Okay, so she was out on bail.
Mm-hmm.
So my answers were, I'll take a stab at it, then defer to my co-counsel, I tell legal lies. In most cases, a plea agreement is made, even with innocent people, which is what the prosecution really wants. No one ever wants to go to trial, even the accused, unless they're looking at a shitload of time. Think Tekashi. So this is my 7 guesses, basically. Number 1, prosecution gathering evidence to build a case, interviewing witnesses, analyzing evidence. That takes a good amount of time. Going before the jury, getting the grand jury, getting an indictment, takes some time. Giving the defense enough time to build their case, because as I understand it, not being given enough time to prep can be grounds for an appeal. 4, scheduling. The prosecutor, defense attorney, and the court all their schedules have to align. And God forbid you have any expert witnesses, because then that makes scheduling even more difficult. Then you have the jury selection process. Takes a little while, because people like me, when we get these jury summonses, you know what we do?
Throw them away. But how long do you think the jury selection process takes?
Couple days after everyone's been summoned. I mean, you got to send the summonses out and see how many people show up. And from there, I'd say probably a day or 2. But the entire process, I'm assuming, I'm going to go for a couple weeks, because summonses have to be out and people have to respond. Number 6, courts are backlogged. Now, that is a fact, and they're really not equipped for trials. Sometimes you will have, like, if someone, say me and Ann are both in court, separate cases, right? We both decide. So the way a court docket's lined up, it's case after case after case after case for one day, right? So if I go appear before the court and say, yo, I'm going to trial, son, fuck this, I'm going to beat these charges. I ain't beat Becky. And then Ann comes in right behind me, same courtroom, same judge, says, I'm going to trial too. Prostitution should be legal. And so
Prostitution is legal.
See what I'm saying? So that's what she would say. Prostitution is legal, Your Honor. I'll break you off a little something if you let me slide.
Oh my God.
So then they're not going to have 2 trials right then and there. So it's like, okay, now we got to schedule these 2 trials. So the courts are just backlogged. And then they still have all these other people appearing for other charges. And number 7, I believe, now this I don't know, but I believe you as a defendant can waive your right to a speedy trial. And the reason I say that is, okay, so we see it took about a year for Amber Guyger to actually go on trial, right? It took about a year for George Zimmerman to go on trial. O.J. Simpson, 2 months. And the reason why, and this was, of course, a smart tactic by the Dream Team, they didn't want the prosecution to be able to continue to collect evidence and build a case. They like, let's go now. Fuck that, let's go now. But if I'm not mistaken, you can waive your right to a speedy trial.
All right, let's start with number 7. You are absolutely correct. You can waive your right to a speedy trial. And for the most part, it's actually a good defense tactic, because that gives the defense more time to prepare. Now, it's not a good tactic if the defendant is actually locked up. So let's talk about your right to a speedy trial. That is actually constitutionally mandated by the 6th Amendment. You have the right to a speedy trial, and this is just criminal cases. We're not talking civil cases. Now, what the Constitution does not do is define what speedy means. Right? And that is actually something that federal law and state law dictates as far as, and state by state. Most states, though, the range is anywhere from 60 days to 120 days.
I saw, when I did a little bit of research today, in some jurisdictions, I saw 270 days.
Well, it all depends. Like I said, the average is 60 to 120.
Gotcha.
Federally, though, federal law has something called the Speedy Trial Act, and it's 70 days. So, and that's 70 days from the date of indictment.
So you could be in jail before they indict you?
Yeah, you could be.
They could.
So, yeah, but yeah, that's 70 days from the date of indictment. In California, you mentioned OJ, in 2 months, California, if you are indicted for a felony offense, 60 days. California, once again, misdemeanor, 30 days. And once again, as Dan said, you can waive that right. And it's all about strategy. And the reason why you have the right to a speedy trial is because the law, justice, demands that if you are found innocent, they don't want you just rotting in jail. If you spend 2 years in jail and then at the end, you're found innocent, that was 2 years of your life.
Khalif Browder.
2 years of your life. But so what happens in criminal cases like Amber Guyger or George Zimmerman or anybody else, really, any criminal trial, there are certain things that can toll the time. And if you are motioning the court to death, every time you have a trial on a motion, that halts the time. So motion practices. If the defendant themselves are unavailable, that'll stop the time.
Wait, how you just be unavailable for a murder charge?
Well, what if you get ill? What if you get sick in jail?
Man, you see how they rolled Tupac up in there with bullet holes in them?
What if you get sick in jail?
They rolled Tupac up in there with bullet holes
let's talk about
in a wheelchair.
What if you escape and they can't find you? What if you're on the run?
But then I don't think any of the shit matters at that point.
Yeah, it does legally. If it was not in place that there are certain exceptions or certain things that toll the time, yes, the time would actually continue to tick. So when you don't have a lawyer, that is actually going to stop your time from ticking.
Wait, I would always have a lawyer because, Your Honor, I would like to represent myself in the case of the United States versus Dan on drugs and under penal code.
Yeah, guess what? And
USC.
You are definitely going to jail.
Shit.
All jokes aside, you in jail.
Shit.
As soon as you open your mouth, it's like, gone. You gone.
Nah.
So what about the whole Miranda rights and attorney being appointed for you if you can't
afford one?
So check this out too. I just came across this a couple days ago while researching the Miranda rights. A lot of people think, I just want to dispel this rumor. A lot of people think that if you get arrested and the police do not read you your Miranda rights, the case gets tossed. Mm-hmm. That is untrue. Mm-hmm. Just throwing that out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that a lot on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't read me my Miranda rights. Even though you caught me with the knife in my hand and blood dripping from it, I get off.
Right. All that does is gets rid of any evidence that the police, any evidence that verbal evidence that you've given the police.
Anything you say cannot be used against you.
Well, right. They call that, or in and it's not just verbal evidence. So say they don't Mirandize you. And yeah, this is a sidebar, but we talking about criminalities anyway. So say they don't Mirandize you and you're sitting in the interrogation room and they start asking you questions and you start answering.
And you say, I did it.
And say you invoke your right to counsel. And they continue to ask you questions and you answer or whatever. So say one of the answers that you give leads them to a piece of evidence that's like the smoking gun that will send you away. Well, that particular piece of evidence and your statements won't be able, your attorney, if they're any kind of attorney, can get any statements that you've made and the evidence that was found because of those statements tossed. You don't necessarily, now that may lead to you getting the hell out of there, but it's not like automatically I walk out because they didn't Mirandize me. So
okay. So anyway, so we got motions.
So yeah, in any motion that you make, the time that it takes to put that on the court's calendar, the time that it comes before the court, that is going to stop the time.
Real quick. And what is a motion?
So this is what a motion is. It's basically a petition for certain things. So we were talking about evidence. Say there is some evidence that the prosecution has that you want to get tossed out. You file a motion for that. Say you want to transfer the place where the trial is going to be held.
Change of venue. Isn't that
yes,
what it's called? Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You file a motion for that. So say what else? Criminal law is not my thing, people. But anyway, say you want the other side to, talking about evidence. Right, I was about to say, speaking of evidence, so discovery, and the other side does not give you what you want, you would have to file a motion to compel, which means now I have to go before the judge to make them give me the evidence that I need. So, motions, those are some types. So stuff like that, like I said, that will cause the time of your speediness to stop. And so let's talk about when that time actually starts. Who knows when this time actually starts?
From the time you're indicted?
And or
the time that your ass get thrown in jail?
Time that you're arrested.
Mm-hmm.
And or the time that you're indicted. So, yeah, that's when it starts. Now, if you are actually indicted before you're arrested, then the time that you're indicted. So, if you're on the run, remember what I said? The defendant is unavailable. If you're on the run, that time actually is stopped.
Right.
Until such time that you're caught.
But then you get new charges on top of that.
Flight.
And then,
all sorts of things.
Then you're going to get Becky all caught up in aiding and abetting a fugitive.
Oh, you going to be the fugitive?
No, not me.
Wait, why would Beck be involved in somebody else?
Because she's crazy like that. Someone just show up at the door. Oh, I'm sorry. I know I said this was going to be a short episode,
yeah,
but
you did.
I must tell this story.
No.
All right. So
I don't know what it is, but I don't want.
Wait, it has something to do with Becky?
Actually, it has something to do with aiding and abetting.
Wait, who aiding and abetting? Becky aiding
Check this out, right? So the year is
1989.
99 actually.
1989.
The year is 1999. So
sounds of a funky
couple
drum.
of my boys, right? They got into it with somebody out somewhere, and they make a phone call and it's like, squad up. We gonna go over here. They stole, I know what it was. Some dude I know left his wallet in somebody's car. And he didn't really know the dude too well. So he's like, yo, my wallet's in your car. Can I get it back? Dude was like, your wallet ain't in my car. And there was a lot of cash in this wallet. So.
Oh, yeah, because your boy was slinging at
got
the time.
Call. Squad up. We about to go get this money. So we show up to an apartment complex. We're 3 cars deep, right? With 4 people in each car. So for 12 people.
How much money was in that wallet?
Probably like $30. So anyway, get to the door. Now, I don't know any of these people. I know like 3 of the people that are with us. The other people I kind of know.
Wait, so why are you part of the squad? You know the dude who wallet it was?
Yeah, I know the dude whose wallet it was. And I was never one to turn down an opportunity to punch somebody in the face. So we get to this apartment. This is how I'm thinking it's going to go in my head. We show up to your house with 12 dudes. You're going to give up the wallet, right? So, nah, these niggas had a plan. Okay, only 2 of us are going to be at the door. The rest of y'all line up along apartment building, line up along the hallway. So I'm like, okay, this is new. So dude answered the door. Man, I told you I ain't got your fucking wallet. And then it's like SWAT. Everyone just converged, bust through the door, and everyone just swinging on anybody and everybody in the house, right?
So basically, y'all swinging on each other?
No, I stepped back because I'm like, I don't even, like half the dudes that was there that was with us, I didn't know. So I'm like.
So you was swinging on people?
I don't know.
You don't know who they was?
No,
right?
I stayed in the hallway too because I said, I'm not entering a dwelling because that's 5 to 10 right there. So one dude, he dragged somebody out the house, body slammed him, and he's like, damn, stomp this nigga out. I'm looking, I got some brand new phone posits on. I'm like, I hit him with some baby kicks. Like, He's like, nigga, you better stop playing. So then I picked up a chick. Never mind. We ain't even gonna go there. But so yeah, this whole situation, right? Somebody's baby mama got hit, I think, in the house. And I'm like, yo, these niggas are wilding. I can't be a part of this. So I hit the stairs and start going to the car. Y'all niggas on some gangster other level shit. So anyway, go downstairs. Mind you, there was like 3 people in the car with me, right? I hollered out. I said, I'm gone.
Wait, you were driving?
I drove 1 car, yes. I hollered out. I said, I'm gone. Like all this mayhem, like they flipping furniture in the house and looking for this wallet and this money. I'm out. Like this whole drug game, that's not me. So 2 of the 3 people that was riding with me came with me because they was like, yeah, this shit's kind of wild now. One person decided to stay because he wanted to find more money than that was in the wallet. So next thing you know, I peel out the apartment complex. I'm like, fuck this. I'm gone. So we go back to a central location at somebody's house, right? Now, another car rolls up and now we have all the lights off in the house and we looking out the window because we like, them niggas gonna kill us. So car pulls up. We didn't notice the car. We didn't know the car because we didn't know the people. But anyway, fast forward, it was, another group of people that was there, right? Then the last group of people showed up, right? Now, everyone's accounted for except for that one person that rode with me. Oh. And I said, I'm out, and they decided to stay. So we start getting, this is before cell phones, we start getting phone calls to the house that we were at from odd numbers. And we're like, we ain't answering that shit. Because it got something to do with this. We ain't answering. So the number just kept calling. So finally, one of my boys was like, fuck it, I'm answering the phone. Hello? Hey, man. Can one of y'all niggas come pick me up? Where you at? I'm at some white lady house right now. Where? I don't even know, tell you the truth. What he did was he saw a white lady unloading her groceries in a nice neighborhood because he was running. He was on foot. Police was like all over now. He was on foot. Nice white lady unloading her groceries. Dude walked up to her and said, excuse me, ma'am. I'm running from the police right now. And I really.
Wait, and the white lady let him in the house to use her phone?
Yes. And gave him a glass of water.
Oh,
no. That's a lie.
On God.
This can't be real.
God. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. And her husband was there too. And her husband was like, okay, buddy, you just be safe out here and try not to get caught. I'm like, can you imagine? So what I'm thinking is they're thinking he done killed somebody. And if we don't be nice to him, he's going to kill us. Because this nigga came running out of the woods. Like he went, because he was trying to avoid the police, man. So anyway, that's some shit Becky would do, aid in a bed. Man, I got stories for days. I'm telling y'all, man. That shit was funny. I need to get that nigga on the podcast to talk about that night. Talking about they had a nice house too. They had a nice bathroom. Their bathroom was clean and they gave me a glass of water. Man, ain't nobody ever gave me a glass of water before. Niggas will give you cups. They give you plastic cups of water. They had glasses, son, with the ice. And this one, ice makers was big shit to niggas in the hood. You put the cup up against the freezer and the ice come out like a 7-Eleven. Like, dog. Man. So anyway.
Aiding and abetting.
That can't be real.
That is a true story.
19 what?
99.
And where was this?
This was in Virginia. And I remember I said that day, I do not want to be a gangster. Nope. I will continue to hang with y'all niggas and
wait, birds of a feather flock together and bullets have no name. You're hanging with the gangsters.
I know.
And look what happened.
I needed to hang with the gangsters though. Like in all honesty too, and the last thing before we jump right back on subject is you joined I didn't join a gang. We didn't even have gangs. We had neighborhoods, cliques and stuff like that. Like the Bloods and the Crips and stuff that came to our area like way later than everyone else, but you needed protection, plain and simple. If you lived in a poverty-stricken neighborhood, you needed protection.
You had to have a group, right?
So the protection that I found was niggas that will run up in your house, slap your baby mama and your kids. That's the type of muscle you want to roll around with, because those is people that don't give a fuck. So when on a few screws I talk about, I say the people I came up with, they're either dead or in jail. That is not an exaggeration whatsoever. So anyway, back to this trial. So the motions.
So basically, a lot of what you said is true. Courts do have a backlog. Most people, they do want you to plead. Most people are like not guilty. And if you plead not guilty and you stick to that plea of not guilty, you will be afforded a trial. But there are steps, your trial has to be calendared. And even before you do all this, there are certain things that you have to go through. So there are, like I said, motions. There are evidentiary hearings. There are just this whole laundry list of things that you would go through prior to getting to trial. So I mentioned at the top of the show about strategies and waiving your right to a speedy trial. That gives your counsel more time to put together a case. It also gives the prosecution.
Same thing, yeah.
And you mentioned OJ, let's get it. We don't want y'all to have that kind of time. In 60 days, they were in court.
And in the meantime, you rotting in jail, possibly.
Exactly right. But so it has its pros and cons. Now, one thing, you mentioned not being Mirandized and getting the case thrown out. You can have a case dismissed if your trial is not deemed speedy enough. So there are things that, the court says you have to prove. And if you can prove them, your case can be thrown out.
Now, when you say be dismissed for not being speedy, that means you cannot be charged again?
Oh, no, you can.
Okay.
So it's not like a double jeopardy type.
Right.
Deal.
Because, see, the thing with double jeopardy, that applies for a trial.
Right.
After you've been acquitted.
Right. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay,
so
I've gone to trial.
OJ right now can say, I killed Nicole and I killed Ron, and nothing can happen to him right now.
as far as that is concerned, because double jeopardy will apply because but of course we saw what happened. He was acquitted of criminal charges, but civilly
guilty. Yeah.
Wrongful death. He was found culpable of their deaths wrongfully. So yeah.
So now the backlog, we have that scheduling. I think the last thing I want to touch on at least is I know somebody else who went to trial for an assault with a deadly weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Now they wanted him to plead and do like 10, 15 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, shit, I'm taking my chances going to trial because the rate of when you go to trial and get off is pretty high. It's like in the 80%. So he said, I'm going to go that route because I can't do 10 to 15 years. So one of the things they brought in an expert witness, and the deadly weapon was a knife. So they brought in a knife expert. Now, of course, he wasn't a witness to what happened, but an expert witness is somebody who can say, they can look at certain things, certain facts of the case and say,
battery.
Can say, yo, this is from this. Like he used this type
or
of blade.
It's impossible to have this type of wound from this knife or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So that can take some time too to get expert witnesses, huh?
Well, as far as that is concerned, that's not something that the court would do. That would be something that the prosecution or the defense would do. So that is going to happen within that time frame. You know, it's not like you can go to court and say, hey, I need 30 days because I got to find a witness. You know, I got to find an expert witness. Even though you can go into court and say, I need extra time, you know.
That would be a motion, right?
Right. Exactly right. Officer Michelle.
Yeah, Officer Michelle. What is that?
Dan.
You on the air,
Dan,
officer.
shut up.
We're taping the show.
Oh, y'all was taping the show, or y'all taping the show now?
We are taping. You are actually live.
That's not cute.
Officer,
I don't have my Officer Michelle voice on.
Okay, well, we're about to get you to put it on right quick. Officer Michelle, quick question for you. Now, how long do you typically see inmates sit before their trials start?
Up to 5 years.
Jesus Christ, that ain't speedy.
I know that's some bullshit. That's what it is.
Well, if they've waived their right to a speedy trial.
Can you sit in jail for 5 years? Don't you got to go to prison after a year?
You just heard Officer Michelle say up to 5 years. You can sit where they want to put you for that period of time.
You can only sit with us for up to 5 years. We don't hold you no longer than that.
Yeah, but then where would they be transferred to?
DOC.
Okay.
Somewhere.
All right.
But they got to get away from us.
All right.
Can't go home, but you can't stay here.
You got to get the hell out of here, no doubt. So
you ain't got to leave, but you got to get the hell out of here.
So oftentimes, do you know why they're sitting there for 5 years? Is it because they've not exerted their right to a speedy trial? Or is it because they're constantly changing lawyers or not having a lawyer? Or
well, a lot of times the trials get set back, either due to not enough evidence or the person just want to take it to trial and fight it.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on the inmate and the lawyer.
Gotcha.
Some lawyers are idiots, I think. My personal opinion, though.
That's true. That's 100% correct. Some lawyers are idiots. Not even close.
And say all of them, huh?
Yeah, because he's a dick.
Some of them are idiots. I mean, some of them know they're guilty and they just fight to the bitter end.
Well, of course. If you have a shot at getting off, wouldn't you? Whether you know even if you know that you did it, you're really gonna go and say you're a criminal. And criminals, by definition, are not gonna be like, yeah, Your Honor, I did it.
No, they're not gonna say I did it, but you gotta prove them guilty.
Exactly right.
Anyway.
Anyway.
They sit long too because they don't have no room for them. They need to build some more jails so they can go.
Or they could let these non-violent criminals out.
Really?
True, but that would give them the right to go be violent again.
No, he said non-violent.
But they're going to go be violent. Next time they come back, it's going to be for some other bull.
All right, so next time they come back, they will be a violent criminal. They will have moved up.
Yeah, they're going to be a violent criminal instead of a non-violent criminal.
Interesting. All right, Officer Michelle. Thank you very much for your insight. We appreciate it.
Officer Michelle, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good night.
You too.
Don't drop the soap.
Oh, Lord.
And we're back. Now, I guess, what was the last thing you were saying?
Oh, I was saying how, unlike the Miranda thing, you can have a case dismissed for not being speedy enough. But you have the burden of proving that your right to a speedy trial has been violated. Yes.
So, anyway, we're going to wrap it up with typically what I saw is it does take about a year for most trials from the time of arrest indictment to the trial. Takes about a year in most cases.
So as Officer Michelle just informed us, she's seen some inmates stay in her facility up to 5 years without having gone to trial. Man. And that honestly could be a number of anything. She said something that you said, backlog.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one thing. 2, if this inmate is constantly flipping lawyers, so what'll happen is, so that's something that's good.
Lawyer.
Right. Like, you get rid of your lawyer, the next lawyer that comes along will be like, Your Honor, I need time to familiarize myself with the case X, Y, and Z. Courts are more than happy to give you that time for the most part. So that's, another process. So there's so many, that's why I said there's so many little things that will slow the process down that, yeah.
Last thing. Well, when talking about changing lawyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
If somebody, well, I guess 2 things. Your lawyer can fire you as a client, right?
You damn right the lawyer can try. Now, that does not mean that the court will allow you to. Because, you can tell your client, I'm no longer going to represent you.
Right.
But what you have to do is file documentation with the court saying, I'm no longer this person's lawyer. Now, the judge can actually say, hold up, partner.
Yes, you will.
You go stay.
But I saw Ebony K. Williams, right? She's shout out to her. She's on State of the Culture now with Joe Budden.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she's walked many a times with her clients to go snitch, right? Because according to her, there's a right way to snitch and a wrong way to snitch. The wrong way to snitch is what Tekashi 6ix9ine is doing. Because now this is just from listening to her, is there's something called scope of testimony or something, or scope, and that needs to be determined before he gets on the stand. And she said if her client was giving up as much information as he's giving up, he would not see a jail cell. But she said, she's escorted multiple people. It's never been this like the Tekashi case. But when asked if she would take a case, the Tekashi case, or a case like the Tekashi case, she said, "Fuck no," because you are putting your life in danger by representing this gang member. So if your lawyer finds out that you're a gang member this is after they show, can your lawyer can say, nah, I'm good. Homeboy that represented dude that shot Nipsey, that fucking Uncle Tom ass nigga, from the OJ case, Darden.
You can 1000% tell the judge, I'm recusing myself. I'm no longer. You can do that, like I said, but there are some instances where the judge will be like, no,
man,
you stay.
Christopher Darden. That will be the nigga that tries to represent the dude that killed Nipsey, man. So anyway, this has been another episode of Black Law and Legal Lies. We hope you learned something today. I learned something today that I never wanted to be in a gang.
No, wait, you didn't learn that today. You learned that back in 1998.
99.
Thank you. In 98, I wanted to be in a gang.
You learned that in 1999, then. That was not today.
So anyway, I hope that clarifies some stuff and answers your question. And again, shout out to Flaw 700.
Yeah.
Shout out
because you took my side.
Took your side. Oh yeah, he Flaw, man.
Took my side on the whole nuts thing. It's real.
Flaw.
It's real.
Flaw. Wait, with the camera, my nigga.
he said it right.
You can't be recording yourself washing your nuts and then say that shit publicly, bruh. You just can't do that.
He said.
Talking about some bitches love clean nuts. That's not what I expected. I just expected a simple yes or a no. This nigga said,
that was so funny.
I wash my nuts first when I'm recording myself because bitches love clean nuts.
That was so funny. But I love it. I will love you forever because thank you. You proved our point.
Yeah.
Proved our point. Thank you.
But he still washed his nuts first.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. You said every time, every man.
How do we know that he's not always recording?
We don't know that. He said himself.
We don't know.
He said it.
So anyway, shout out to Flaw 700 of the Podcast Brothers, and shout out to Killer Kayla. And my name is Dan. You can catch me on Twitter. Oh, and right quick too, I'm currently in competition with Killer Kayla on the Apple Watch.
Why? Working out?
Yeah, the 7 day. And I'm kicking your ass, son.
Really?
Yeah, I just
and that validates him.
Yeah.
Don't mind it, Killer.
Man, I'm competitive.
In the extreme.
I am competitive. I don't care if it's a woman.
He will kill himself to win.
I don't care if it's a woman. It could be a 400-pound woman.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, 400-pound dog that can't walk. Nigga, I'm gonna get more steps than you, dog.
As you can tell, this has not been an adventure with Afro Becky, but it has been an edutainment episode of Black Law and Legal Lies.
Absolutely.
Lies.
Thank you for joining us on this ride.
Yeah. Ooh, come on, ride the train. Ride it.
Oh, yeah, I'm Dan. You can catch me on Twitter and IG at I am Dan on Drugs. You can keep up with the show on all platforms at Black Law Podcast. And again, we'd like to just kind of let you know our merchandise store is open. 2 t-shirts, 2 to choose from.
Whoop, whoop. Yes, and I am Just In, and you can follow me at I Tell Legal Lies on Twitter. Yo.
Peace.